History is full of stories of demons and other unworldly creatures coming into our world and wreaking havoc on society. But what does science have to say about zombies? Are these ferocious freaks plausible or scientifically accurate in any way? Should we be preparing for a zombie apocalypse? Well, it depends on what type of zombie we're talking about. Dying and coming back from the dead? Not so likely. But a virus that induces zombie-like qualities of rage and the incessant need to eat human flesh? Hypothetically, yes. The main factor involved is finding a virus specific to the brain areas for these symptoms while leaving other areas intact. Viruses can enter the body and affect cells in many ways, but we're going to focus on the neurons. Neurons are some of the longest cells and can transport molecules and proteins across the entire body. Many viruses, such as rabies, take advantage of something called retrograde axonal transport to travel from their entry point to where they want to be. In the case of rabies, the virus can enter anywhere and slowly make its way to your brain or central nervous system. The farther it starts physically from your brain, the longer it will take to get there, sometimes years. But once it's there, it's generally too late. Many viruses follow a similar system, with the only difference being which neurons they're specific to. This zombie virus would have to use specific neurons to affect particular parts of the brain to induce a zombie state without damaging the entire brain. Sound unlikely? Well, it just so happens that the olfactory nerve, which is in your nose and used for scent, leads directly to some areas of the brain that could cause zombified effects and would leave other areas of the brain intact. Specifically, it leads to the ventromedial hypothalamus, which tells you you're full, the amygdala, which controls emotion and memory, and the frontal cortex, responsible for problem solving, morality, and inhibiting impulsive action. Essentially, transmission of a virus through the olfactory nerve could create super hungry, aggressive, brain-dead beings that can't recognize family and friends or control their own actions other than to feed. Sounds kind of like a zombie. So while the picture of a rotting or invincible zombie may be less than likely, with the right virus nerve specificity, a form of zombies could be possible. Will you be ready? Got a burning question you want answered? Ask it in the comments or on Facebook and Twitter, and subscribe for more weekly science videos.
Google finally released images of their much-anticipated augmented reality glasses this week for all to see. It looks more like a heads-up display as opposed to glasses. It appears the glasses feature a small video screen that sits in front of the right eye, a forward-facing video camera, a speaker by the ear, and a single button on the side. It will likely contain a microphone as well. The device will probably communicate with your phone through Wi-Fi and display content on the video screen as well as respond to voice prompts from the user. Google put together a short video showing some of the features to expect. Mainly it seems geared towards social networking and a few other apps like navigation and communication. Although it's the first step towards a truly augmented reality world, at the moment it doesn't look like the glasses will offer the true augmented reality experience that we were all hoping for. In the future, we may see glasses that have video screens that cover your entire field of view so that a true augmented reality experience can be achieved. My vision of AR glasses is one that uses 3D camera tracking and 3D computer models that are displayed on top of real objects. I envision walking into a grocery store wearing augmented reality glasses and seeing video advertisements displayed on product boxes. The product's packaging will act as markers for the 3D camera tracking, and when the glasses recognize it, they'll display a video or a 3D computer model on top of the product. Greeting cards are another great example. Hallmark already has a line of augmented reality greeting cards, but you need a computer and a webcam to view them. Imagine getting a greeting card from someone and looking at it with your augmented reality glasses and seeing 3D models displayed on it or fireworks flying out and spelling out happy birthday. AR glasses would also make being a mechanic much easier. Imagine looking at an engine and having the 3D specs displayed on top of it telling you what to fix and how to fix it. It'll also make gaming much more interactive. Imagine two people wearing augmented reality glasses and playing a game together. Each one would be able to see and interact with the same video game characters as if they were in the real world. You could play a game of virtual catch in the park, or you could play a real-world version of Street Fighter. It's not hard to imagine a world where concerts and trade shows have 3D environments that people wearing AR glasses could see and interact with. At the moment, we're a long way from this, but Google, as always, is taking the first step into a world of augmented reality for everyone to see. Stay tuned for more Science and Stuff with the Taoist Flyer. I love cells. They're the building blocks of complex life forms, and they taste great. They make up both plants and animals, but ask any farmer that produces animals on a large scale, and they'll tell you it's an expensive endeavor. It takes lots of land, time, and resources, and there are ethical concerns as well. If only there were a way to grow meat without having to grow the rest of the animal, almost like a steak tree. Just walk up to the tree, pull off a steak, and cook it up. No fuss, no muss. As strange as it sounds, it may be possible in the future to buy a steak that came from a factory instead of a farm. Now, before all you farmers pick up your pitchforks and riot, don't worry. It won't take away your way of life anytime soon, but work is in progress that may change farming forever. The work of Mark Post at Maastricht University is one of the first steps. Using muscle stem cells, he's successfully been able to grow strands of muscle tissue in the lab. In what he calls a relatively simple process, muscle stem cells multiply and then get seeded onto a scaffold. Then they can be differentiated into different tissues, which are grown and conditioned. The tissue gets fed sugars, proteins, and fatty acids, and it can even be stimulated and toned with an electric current. It's this type of process that could one day allow man to colonize space and have steak on the side. Now, some people turn away when they hear the word stem cells, but contrary to social conditioning, they aren't as controversial as you may think. Even the Vatican's recently approved of stem cell research. Some people even put their own stem cells in tissue banks. These cells have the ability to replicate themselves and to change into other types of tissue. This makes it easy to manipulate a few cells into becoming a large complex piece of tissue like meat. Now, if you think growing meat in a lab is gross, think about the alternative and tell me it isn't gross. In fact, when you think about meat grown in a factory, it could be safer, more consistent in flavor, and take a lot less energy and space to produce. Over time, it may become the expected norm, but at the moment there are still several hurdles to overcome before you see a factory-grown steak on your table. But when the day comes, it'll probably taste just as good as the real thing, if not better, and be better for you as well. So stay tuned for more science and stuff with the Dow.
This man is Rob Spence, and he makes films. No, literally. His body makes films. After a shooting accident when he was 9, Rob had to have his eye surgically removed. But after joking with friends about having a robotic cyborg one installed instead, documentary maker Rob actually went and did it.
Pretty much anyone who loses an eye will make a joke, at least. I should get a camera put in there. It's not a wacky, out-of-this-world concept.
Years of hard work and research have left him with this, a tiny camera implanted in his eye socket, which transmits video wirelessly to screens, TVs, hard drives and cameras. And it's opened up a whole new perspective for him, even getting him offers of, unsurprisingly, secret camera work.
One very high-up news executive said, would I like to go to Iraq with my prosthetic eye and see what I could see there? Because sometimes when you have a giant camera, it's not such a great idea in a war zone.
I recently traveled around.
But instead, sci-fi fan Rob went around the world making a documentary on cyborgs alongside the makers of the computer game Deus Ex. That game features a cyborg from the future. Here's one from today.